Before there were maps, there were two worlds. The world you know, and the shining realm of Kaf, hidden just beyond it. A kingdom of fairies and giants and magic. On the night he was born, an emperor 1,000 miles away woke from a dream. A black crow that stole his crown, and a bright hawk that flew out of the west to win it back. And the wise men said, "That hawk is a child, and he will shake the thrones of the world." That same night, the fairies of Kaf carried the sleeping baby across the sky. They blessed him, and they touched his eyes, so that nothing hidden could ever hide from him again. His name was Hamza. He would become the bravest champion the world had ever seen. Strong as a lion, a warrior against 100 armies, a prince who lost his heart to a princess, and at his side, the cleverest trickster who ever lived. Amar, a thief of 1,000 disguises, and the truest friend a hero ever had. Together, they crossed burning deserts and enchanted mountains. They faced sorcerers and giants and dragons and the demon armies of Kaf. They saw wonders no eye had ever seen. Thrones that flew, cities of gold, gardens that bloomed in the dark, courage, magic, love, and laughter. One of the greatest stories ever told, carried for 1,000 years. And now, it is yours. This is the Dastan of Amir Hamza. Debts, children, are patient animals. They wait a long time in the dark, and they wait without hunger. And then, one morning, they come and sit at the foot of your bed. The kohl that was drawn along Hamza's eyes when he was 6 nights old. The milk of devs that was fed to him before he had words. That fearless heart of his, none of it, children, had ever been a gift. Kaf does not give. Kaf invests. And now, after 18 years, the bill had come due. Hamza woke in a cave that smelled of paradise. His head had been split by Shahpal's blow, you remember, and the wound was closed now, beneath a sheen of resin, healed by an ointment older than any kingdom, though the scar would stay with him to the end of his days. Around him hung fruit he had never seen on any tree of the world, and beside him sat a grave and courteous stranger who inclined his head and named himself Abdur Rahman, the jinn, vizier of Kaf. He told Hamza the truth, and he told it plainly. The cradle stolen into the sky, the kohl, the milk of pari and jinn and dev and ghoul, all of it the 18-year investment of a fairy king named Shahpal. And now the account had come to be settled. For a rebellion of devs had risen in Kaf and eaten that whole shining realm down to the walls of one last garden. And the stars said that only one man alive could quench that fire, the Sahib Kiran, the lord of the auspicious conjunction, Hamza himself. And below the mountain there came a sound Hamza knew better than his own name. Black Constellation, his own horse, riderless, had done the one thing that faithful beast had sworn he would never do at a time like this. He had not come to mourn, he had come to lead. And up the goat paths of the mountain the horse brought Amar to the mouth of the cave. There was a reunion, children, and there was a small comedy in it, for the invisible hands of the jinns ruffled the hair of the outraged thief and pinched him, and he could not see a single one of them. They could see Amar. Amar could not see them. But Hamza, whose eyes had been touched by the kohl of Solomon, saw every last one, plain as you see me. And Amar argued, because Amar had to argue, Mihr Nigar, waiting, the army, leaderless, Naushavan, circling like a vulture over Mecca. And letters came, one from Hamza's father, one from his beloved, and both of them said the same word, and the word was, don't. But Hamza answered them both with a number that would haunt the whole of the tale to come. Kaf owes me a childhood, he said, and I owe it a war. 18 days, Amar. Their vizier swears the road runs faster on that side of the world. Deliver my letters. 18 days, and I am home. And Amar, who trusted the promises of Kaf the way a man trusts open water, took the 2 letters and said nothing. And quietly, children, he slipped them both into the zambil, that bottomless bag of his, and did not deliver them. He could not bring himself to carry a goodbye he did not believe. Remember that. Remember the letters in the bag. Now the emperor had learned that his hawk lay wounded and alone, and he thought, here is my hour. And he sent Gustam of the Garden of Knives, of the poison years ago, the oldest unpaid account in the whole saga, sent him with an army to take Hamza at his very weakest. That army rode straight into Hamza's new and unseen allies. And here, children, was a battle the like of which those Persian soldiers had no word for. Horsemen were plucked screaming into the empty sky by nothing at all. Whole ranks were folded shut like paper by wings no man could see, and the few who lived to flee came back to Ctesiphon, babbling of a sorcery they could not name. Gustam alone cut his way through to Hamza, and Hamza, with one clean stroke, closed that old ledger forever. The Garden of Knives was paid. The poison was paid. Gustam ended there in the daylight, before witnesses. Then Hamza mounted, not his own horse, for Black Constellation would stay behind with the Earth Camp, and the parting between the man and the beast was played without a single word, forehead pressed to forehead. And he stepped with the jinn vizier through a fold in the very air, and was gone, out of the world. And oh, children, the world he stepped into, the Garden of Iram. Velvet canopies, 4,444 jewelled seats, and upon the throne of Solomon, a king worn thin at the end of his strength, Shahpal, his majesty rubbed down to the gilding. With his own royal hand, the fairy king poured white wine of Iram into a cup and gave it to the human champion, and a rose-coloured light moved in Hamza's eyes. And behind a screen of jewelled fretwork, introduced exactly, children, exactly as Mir Nigar had first been shown to us, watching him before he could watch her, sat the king's daughter, Asman Pari, the sky fairy. She looked at him once, only once, and the lattice of that screen fell across her face like the very lattice of fate. She said not one word. The look was enough, and so, quietly, without a drum or a trumpet to mark it, the longest war of the whole saga began. The one fought not over a throne, but over a heart. The terms were laid out by the jinn vizier with a lawyer's dread. 9 days. A feast, then a war, then a farewell feast. And let the 10th day not find you here. Mark those words, children. Keep them by you. And in return, Shahpal swore his own lifelong service. And Hamza rose and vowed to shear every high-headed dev in Kaf down to the ground. Then the armoury of Solomon was opened, and 4 great swords were carried out on silk: Samsam, Kamkam, Scorpion, and Spine Cleaver. Hamza's hand passed over the famous names, passed them all by, and closed upon the Scorpion of Solomon. And the fairy folk erupted, for that was the sword of the prophecy, the Dev-slayer foretold. They brought a poplar tree to test it, and Hamza cut. And the cut was so clean, children, that the tree did not know it was dead until a hand pushed it, and it toppled slowly into the grass. And the war drums of Iram began, gold and silver kettle drums thundering. And far off past the horizon came the Dev's answer. Mountains slapped like drums by palms of stone. Meanwhile, on the earth, the other clock had started to tick. Amar went to Ctesiphon, dressed as a grain merchant, and bought 1 private hour with the wise vizier, Buzurj Mer, and walked out of that hour with an arithmetic that broke the whole tale in half. Not 18 days, King of Thieves, the old man told him. 18 years. That is the first thing. And the second, Velam and Kelam are already riding for Mecca, 30,000 strong, to burn the nest and carry off the phoenix's bride. And in Mecca, the letter of counsel was placed in Miher Nigar's hands, and her whole world folded shut at that one word, years. And she reached for the bowl of poison. And this once, children, she was stopped. Not by any trick of the thief, but by Amar kneeling before her, for the first and very nearly the last time in the whole saga, entirely and painfully honest. "Poison is a door out, princess," he said. "I am begging you to hold a door open. 18 years, one fort, one thief upon the walls, and on the last morning of it I will hand him back to you laughing. It is the only oath I have never once planned to break." The army was given free leave to go. Every last man stayed. The fort of Mecca closed its gates, and Amar took his seat under the canopy on the wall, regal as any king of the 7 realms, while out on the skyline the dust of Velam and Kelam began to rise. So both worlds got their war, his against giants he had been built to break, and hers against time, which breaks everyone. 18 years, children. Be grateful the Dastan will keep them far shorter than the lovers found them. You have only to listen. Sleep now. The lamp is low. And tomorrow, I will tell you of the dawn over Qaf, and of the first battle against the Devs, and of the moment the Sky Fairy, behind the screen, at last opens her mouth to speak.